Hello, Virgo. Horoscope, month of July 2020. You have a somewhat reserved holiday on July 4th thanks to the full moon and lunar eclipse in fellow Earth sign Capricorn. But you still feel the intensity and pressure that come with looking toward the future. There might not be a lot you can do now to change things in the long term, but thinking about it puts you in a good position. The Chiron retrograde cycle starts on the 11th, bringing sudden awareness to an incident or feeling from the past that's been keeping you from moving on in your life. Forgiving others is a part of this transit, but forgiving yourself might actually be more important. The new moon in sensitive Cancer on July 20th gives you reason to show more compassion than usual, and your loved ones might be surprised at the extra TLC you give them during this nurturing transit. Letting your soft side show now is an indication you're much more human than you let on most of the time. When Mercury opposes the lucky Jupiter on the 13th, you might be lulled into a false sense of security. Everything looks good from where you're sitting, but everything isn't always as it seems. You know that old saying, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. Yep, that's this energy. Cosmic, spiritual, intellectual, physical, social, and emotional aspects of the self for Virgo in July of 2020. Ace of Swords for the spiritual self. Two of Cups for the intellectual self. The Lovers for the physical self. Prince of Cups for social self. And the Fool for emotional self. Ace of Swords here in your spiritual self. Ace of Swords represents a cutting of two different ways. Be careful, don't cut yourself. So you could be arrogant and thinking you know better, that you may be agnostic or anarchist or not really believing in anything spiritual or anything like that. On the flip side, you might be actually empowering more of that. So like it would be the opposite way of what it cuts in that regard. If you are faithful or spiritual or anything like that, you are more tend to be starting to embrace that shining light in your mind's eye, connecting to the intellectual sword here, your words. So you're being more brilliant or bright or expressing yourself more about your spiritual growth. Intellectual self, Two of Cups. This is representing like that those feelings of butterflies, or those feelings you get when you first fall in love with somebody, or you get with somebody you really like finally, or again if you've been in a relationship before. This is the you know expressing that first phase of being in love with somebody. So this is an intellectual self. So your intellectual self is reminiscent of this energy in July. Compassion maybe is on your mind constantly. All these flowers and wonderful ideas that may be coming up. It correlates with the emotions in the cups here. So this is just overall your head is in a good place of compassion. The Lovers here is all about more commitment, long term. Already been in love for a while, but this is in your physical self. So you're just feeling that the long-term commitment in your body, like you're willing to be with somebody for a long time, or you have been with, or you've known someone for a long time, and the physical feelings you're getting for them are um, overflowing and ready to burst. So all the compassion you're getting from your intellectual self and your spiritual self are showing up in this Lover's card here. So your physical self is having urges and towards maybe if you're not in a relationship, maybe you're hoping for this, or maybe you're just having more compassion for yourself and your physical exertion of yourself, and maybe going out or having time to yourself. Social self, the Prince of Cups is seduction and passion. He it's got the Scorpion here, so it's got Scorpion aspects included. So it's kind of like give and take, or espionage in a sense, like spy versus spy, or what's that movie? Mr. and Mrs. Smith kind of energy. Like you have agendas possibly against each other or not, or you maybe thinking the same thing, or I mean, this is in the social aspect of the self. So this could just be you playing that part of Mr. or Mrs. Smith in your social aspects of how you deal with others. So this is just tread lightly. Don't end up doing something you might regret. Emotional self has the Fool, so your emotions might be more flamboyant. In consideration with all the other cards, you're kind of being a big flirt. If you're in a relationship, you might be a little unfaithful, possibly, maybe not, maybe you don't see it that way. You're just trying to have fun and not get tied down too much, or enclosed where you get claustrophobic in your relationships. You want to be free and frolic around, but there's this cliff here you might jump off of and end up in the bottom of something, or end up hurting yourself emotionally. So just pay attention to your affirmations. Also, any spirit guides. If you're not listening, you're probably going to fall off that cliff. Universal, fantasy, spiritual, intellectual, physical, social, emotional aspects of the self for Virgo in July of 2020. Spiritual self has the World. Intellectual self has 10 of Wands. Physical self has Strength. Social self has Page of Pentacles. Emotional self has the Hermit. The world is mastering your own self, and the material world is not everything. So this is the giant. See, that's a giant looking down on the world. This is the higher self, spiritual self looking down, and this is what the Ace of Swords is telling you, that you could end up falling, and the bigger you are, the harder to fall, right? Or it could be you're more concerned about looking down on the material world than you are experiencing your higher self. So try to just enjoy who you are on a higher understanding of divine purpose, and just be in tune with that. 10 of Wands, intellectual self, is about ignoring distractions, focusing on the task ahead. She's painting a picture, or is it a he? Who knows, she or he? Well, it looks like a he painting a naked she. Focus on it and not getting distracted by the fact that she is naked, right? Finishing his art first, and then getting into that love, right? So this kind of is like telling you to the what you're working on is what gives the beauty to everything in what you're thinking about in July. If you're thinking about somebody special, doing something for someone, and not just taking advantage that you have their attention, is equal trade of energy. Being harmonious in the balance of give and take. Strength is winning over arrogance and tyranny. It also says there are no enemies, there are only lovers yet unknown. So if you're not in a relationship, just try to maybe cut back a little bit on what pushes people away to help you with that. Or if you are in a relationship, try to cut back on things that you're pushing away the ones you love. And taming the inner beast within you and not letting it cause division between the two lovers here. Page of Pentacles is all about trusting your instincts and believing in those closest to you. He stands there with the energy in his hand, looking at it, wearing, nice suit armor, protected. He's not afraid of anything. And the Prince of Pentacles, or not Pentacles, Prince of Cups, is that Scorpion energy, a little espionage, like I said, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. But at the same time, they did love each other, so we got to be careful. This might also just be you focusing on yourself a little bit more, of having the right love for yourself, and not, what they say that like you can't love somebody else till you love yourself correctly, right? You can't love someone else correctly till you love yourself correctly. So just to have that beautiful harmony aspect picture here. And with the Prince of Cups, correlates with the physical self, taming the beast within, controlling your urges a little bit, and having timing. Timing is everything with urges. And just being that Page of Cups there with the Prince of Cups. And then the Hermit is saying that maybe you should take a time out from all the flirting, or if you're one of those flamboyant, here's the full flamboyant single people who gets around and has slept with a lot of people, or not, or likes to sleep with many people, or whatever that is. Maybe you need to take time out from that and be a little bit of a hermit in that emotional aspect of yourself. If you're in a relationship, maybe your lover's having a hard time with all your sexual urges. I mean, this could be a multitude of things. This all depends on your life and your perspective, because the Fool is a circle, 0, and it's the beginning or the end of things, right? In a sense, in the spiritual aspect. And the Hermit takes that introspection and figures it out. Epic, spiritual, intellectual, physical, social, emotional aspects of the self for Virgo in July of 2020. For spiritual, we have the 8 of Chalices. Intellectual, we have the 10 of Chalices. Physical, we have the 6 of Spheres. Social, we have the Tower. Emotional, we have the 10 of Books. With the 8 of Chalices, this is the Distance Makes the Heart Grow Fonder card. This is spiritual aspect of yourself, though, so maybe you need to take a break from your ego, or have an ego death, or get more introspection from the shadow, or the balance of ego and shadow, and get to the center of the storm where the egg hatches. And that's what the Ace of Swords is all about, is the egg hatching, the truth, the sword of truth here. And then the world the higher self looking down, but don't be looking down. Maybe if you are looking down, just be like, oh, everything is working out the way it's supposed to work out, even though it doesn't look like it. And just detach yourself from the world a little bit and have that egg hatch for yourself. The Ten of Chalices here in this deck is like the Let It Be John Lennon song. Um, it's the harmonious understanding of freedom. Okay? And the Ten of Wands was focusing on your task at hand. It correlates with the spiritual aspect of what I was saying. And the Two of Cups here, compassion, right? So just a little more compassion, let things go, let things be, focus on your task at hand, and everything will be all good. The Six of Spheres is the snowball effect card. So if you hold on to energy, it will wear you out, but if you pass it on, it'll build up in others, and if they pass it on, it'll build up more and more and more and more, right? Snowball effect. And with the strength, it's so the taming the beast has to do with passing the energy on, and then the lovers with compassion and loving, and just being in harmonious, divine compassion. I mean, just this is physical self though. So with physical self, we're thinking more of along the line of that balance of energy. Maybe the person you're wanting to do something with doesn't feel it right now, or doesn't feel it at the time, and you just have to be harmoniously timed at, come back in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or a day or two, or whatever it is, and then try again. But do it with compassion. Don't be frustrated with getting told no. This tower out of this deck is rehashing or rebuilding something, or it will be done for you. Destroy it. It'll be destroyed for you if you don't do it yourself. And restructuring something. And this is social aspects, so maybe you have to restructure your social, your behavior, or your connections with people in your life. And then remember the Page of Pentacles here, getting that harmonious viewpoint and seeing how beautiful everything is. And then the Prince of Cups is kind of like that Mr. and Mrs. Smith at the end of the movie, realizing that maybe I don't want to kill this person. So there's a lot to be done on the social aspect of yourself. This is probably where most of your trouble is going to be in July, is the social aspect of yourself. And maybe it is you and not them. The Ten of Books here is seeing the big picture, and that there is no end to the stories, or to a story that you're in, or you're only halfway through the book, or you're ending a book and need to start a new one, or a new chapter. With the Hermit, this guy looks like he's a hermit, kind of, right? So this is taking a time out from your emotional folly and getting it's like taking your book in for editorial perspective. So maybe taking yourself in for that better perspective, and taking a time out and getting more meditation, and go to outdoors and get away from people maybe for a little bit, and maybe think about what you've done or what you're doing or how things are playing out for yourself, and get a little better connection with, because the emotional connects to spiritual and social directly, and just increasing your potential through self-reflection. Foxfire, the Kitsune, what message do you have for Virgo in July of 2020? The Sentinel. Within the world you dwell in, a storm is brewing. It is visible to many so far, and most are completely unaware of its approach. They no longer notice the fall and rise of the air about them, the tightening of the pressure, or the release of rain, for they dwell within their glass towers and no longer feel a part of the elements and the dance between them. But you do, seeker, and you are aware that there is a force gathering. What its outcome will be, how it will break, and what it will do are still mysteries. but you can prepare for this storm approaching. Others will not listen. Others will see you as a negative or fearful when you inform them of what it is you are preparing for. Regardless, prepare anyway. Watch and take care of what it is you need to do. This is nothing to be fearful of. It is simply advanced knowledge of a storm. And the storms can damage or they can pass by overhead and clear the air. It is wise to prepare. The sentinel of the skies, this dragon being, has come to you, and you are invited now to see things from his magical perspective, to go high above the buildings and the everyday, and see the implications of the change that is coming. This gift of foresight from the friends of the consuming will see you well prepared for the gathering storm, and will give you foresight and enable you to look out for those who will listen. Make wise choices, preserve, take care, observe, repair, and prepare, and consider what you will do to be sure you are cared for in the future. Know that when the storm passes, for they all will, you will be standing strong and able to help others if necessary, and continue with your life. You are being watched over. The sentinel will stand with you always. Which power animal has a message for Virgo in July of 2020? Rabbit. Fertility. Your creativity is at a peak. This is an incredibly creative and fertile time right now for you. Get going on these projects you've always wanted to do, or those that you've started but haven't finished. These are not necessarily ones that have anything to do with earning money, but those which you have a passion for, whether writing, painting, sculpting, or some other expensive art form. Don't even think about whether you're good enough, and don't measure your creations against anyone else's. Let them be the unique manifestation of your fertile imagination without comparing them to anything or anyone else. If you're spending a lot of time frittering away precious time on things that you really aren't all that important, then take all that energy and pour it into your creative pursuits. If everything to you is work, 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 then it's even more important that you play through these channels. All those distractions sidetrack you from knowing the joy of pure and unadulterated artistic revelation. Go for it, and let yourself feel uninhibited joy in the process. Additional associations: vigilance, abundance, agility, sacrifice. Keepers of the Light, who has a message for Virgo in July of 2020? Horus. Cosmic Gateway. Your thoughts are magnetic and powerful. Miraculous changes are occurring. Horus is the Egyptian eagle-headed god and sun twin flame of the goddess Isis. He is known for his foresight, psychic awareness, and ability to travel between the worlds. He can help us move into the cosmos with our mind, meditations, and prayers, so that we can harness the natural magic that surrounds us. He was known for ritual magic in the past, and now he helps create pockets of energy in the world where we can access light, wisdom, and insight. If you're seeing the symbol of an eye appearing around you, know that Horus is asking you to become aware of how you are influencing the energy around you, and how it in turn is influencing you. You are connected to the universe and have the ability to manifest miraculous experiences. Your thoughts, words, and actions are like magnets, drawing the energy that creates and cultivates your world. You have a stellar gateway chakra above your head, a vortex of energy that is influenced by your own energy. You can place ideas into the vortex to create what you are seeking. The universe also offers you guidance, abundance, support, and healing based on your capacity to connect to it and accept it. You have a real opportunity to further that connection now by sending prayers and intentions out into the cosmos. Sacred power for Virgo in July of 2020. Rainbow dragon. Floating within the golden ascension rays, the rainbow dragon is making you aware of what is required for you to act in truth and honesty. Bringing the vibration from the golden ray, the rainbow dragon opens connections to your higher self, the central sun, and angelic and ascended master realms, while centering you in the present. Through the dragon's movements, the frequency and vibration of the rainbow spectrum dissipates negative blocks and karmic debris, but only if you are willing to accept the change required to break down walls and barriers that stop you from moving forward. Powerful and unstoppable, once you activate your rainbow dragon, prepare for swift and sudden change, bringing harmony and change in a positive direction. The rainbow dragon is the protector, harmonizer, destructor, and creator all in one. Connecting to the elements, the dragon is here to assist you in raising your vibration and consciousness through the energy of the elements. As the creator of action, you are encouraged to follow your truth with honesty and integrity. Right now, honesty is required in all areas of your life. When you begin to unburden yourself, you allow yourself to be open to the gifts of the universe. Now is the time to get busy. Ask the elements for assistance to work through your present issues. Which element can help you in your current situation? Focus on the rainbow dragon. Which color are you attracted to in the card? So if you remember, the card had different colors. Which color most are you focused on? If you chose pink or purple, it is earth, grounding, nature, practical lifestyle cycles, balance and harmony. If you chose white, that's air, breath, and meditation, clarity of consciousness. If you chose blue, that's water, assessing and freeing emotion, truth and expression. If you chose red or orange, that's fire, finding your passion. If you chose purple, that's spirit, placing you on your life direction, harmonizing yin-yang energies, emergence of one with spiritual law, identifying patterns and rules governing life, creation, awareness, and higher frequency. Divine Circus, what's the message for Virgo in July of 2020? Clown of Crossroads. Opportunity is upon you, though it may seem like a farewell to what you have known. This chance is a crossroad, a time when you can go left or right. You cannot continue with everything as it has been, and this means that something will have to be released for something else to be gained. It's time for you to take your chances and make a choice. The Clown of Crossroads card comes to you when you are at a choice point, a time for you to make a decision and realize that your life does not have to continue on as it has been anymore. You are at a pattern-breaking, life-changing moment, or soon will be. Of course, you can try to continue with the status quo, keeping things the same as they are now for as long as you can. However, in doing so, you will be saying no to the pathway opening up for you, leading to a different life ahead. In nature, all things must grow. What is suitable for one phase of development might be utterly constraining or inadequately stimulating for the next phase of growth. When the Clown of Crossroads comes to you, she tells you that it is time for a new phase of life to begin. You cannot continue on without making a clear choice, a commitment to what matters to you, a decision to see something through or to let it go once and for all. Be patient as you feel for the truth of your choice, whilst remaining courageous enough not to procrastinate and become stuck in the indecision. The crossroads often means leaving something behind as a rite of passage. You cannot take your whole life with you into new territory. Certain people may be able to change and grow along with you, but other relationships, situations, or circumstances will have to be sacrificed on the altar of new life. This can be difficult, and you must honor your loss, whilst at the same time remembering that it is for a sacred purpose which will ultimately bring you greater joy. For now you are in mourning for a morning. This is the letting go and realizing in readiness for a new beginning. You may feel excited and sad. If you are grieving, know that your tears are cleansing you, freeing you from the past and watering the new seeds in your garden of life. You are already at the point of excitement, but perhaps also fear as you contemplate the risk of leaping into an unknown destiny. Take heart. It is your time to leap, and when the timing is right, whomever and whatever is required to catch you at the other side of your leap shall be there. Wisdom of the Oracle, what message do you have for Virgo in July of 2020? Tick-Tock. Timelessness, divine timing, immeasurable time. When humans created time, everything changed and contracted. People who come to look at life in a linear way, imagining that the past is behind them and the future ahead of them. But what if that isn't true at all? What if everything, creativity, beauty, chaos, and order were happening now in a glorious timelessness? You have all the time in the world to co-create the life you desire, so release your agenda. Let go of your need to shape each moment to your expectations, knowing that what is yours will never be withheld from you. Miracles are here right now and always show up when you need them, right on time. I suggest watching George Carlin's Time stand-up skit. Relationship message. Love, the fulfillment of desire, and even the body's reproductive cycles have their own timetable. Some things are preordained and cannot be coerced. Everything has its season, its divine and appropriate timing, especially when it comes to matters of the heart. Remember that you always have enough time for love, to find it, to nurture it, to give and receive it. Its clock is eternal and ticks according to the beating of your heart, in perfect rhythm. Isn't that wonderful to know? Love is always right on time. Prosperity message. Your prosperity is co-created by your endeavors as they occur in human-made time and the eternal efforts of your most important manifestation partner, spirit, in a divine, measureless time. So keep doing what you're doing. Stay positive and make a commitment to remain in high vibration thoughts and feelings. If you heed the message of this card, it will seem as if you will align with your highest calling and your highest good in no time at all, like magic. So what's all this fuss about not having enough time? The prosperous life that is yours will never pass you by. Protection message. Have you been feeling as if the clock is ticking and gotten a little nervous that your dreams are taking too long to manifest? There's nothing to fear. You will never run out of time. For the important things, the miracles that are yours and yours alone can't be missed. Isn't that amazing? You're in such capable hands, with guides and angels hovering in the invisible spaces, ensuring that your journey will be filled with all sorts of goodies. Let your anxiety be gently dispelled by your faith. Spirit will never deny you your highest good. All is yours in divine, appropriate timing. You can relax. Cosmic message for Virgo in July of 2020. Choices. To make your decision, ask yourself which experience best allows my soul to grow. If you have drawn this card, you've come to a crossroads in your life where choices and decisions need to be made. This period can be quite challenging as you weigh your options. Your mind tells you one thing, and yet your heart feels differently. The mind, with all its logic, reinforces your core beliefs in what is safe and secure with creature comforts and stability. Your heart, on the other hand, pushes you to explore possibilities and adventures that seem all too foolish and irresponsible to the mind. Dearest one, your soul longs to grow, evolve, and expand to higher states of consciousness. Your heart knows this, as it is the guiding force within you. The mind is the vehicle that assists you in getting to where your heart needs to go. Are you growing in your current situation, whether it is in a relationship or working environment? Or does spirit have to bring outside influences such as changes in your working environment or a new friendship that causes you to review your current relationship? If it is external influences that are pulling at your heartstrings and not your current situation, then it's pretty clear that the place you are in is not serving your highest good. It may be serving you on a physical, creature comfort level, but your heart and soul needs more. You need to be challenged and pushed to make breakthroughs. Why play it safe? You have one life to live, and the mission isn't to be cautious. Our goal is to grow and expand. Closing doors in your life may not be easy. Trust your heart and inner guide that you are being taken somewhere beautiful. You are not alone. Divine guidance surrounds you continuously. Affirmation: I am courageous as I listen to the guidance from my heart. Associated chakras: solar plexus, heart. Isis, what's the message you have for Virgo in July of 2020? Magic and ritual. Crafting sacred practice. Effect in the external world can be created through inner practice. Magic and ritual can support your divine path now in the physical world, and you are encouraged to enhance your power with regular practice. The results that you experience will encourage you to continue with the practice as you grow in power, grace, love, ability, and wisdom, and apply your inner beauty to transform your outer world. For us to grow empowered and potent on the path of an ancient feminine power, we need to honor our knowing and being and cultivate sacred practice. Sacred practice becomes the habit of growing our spiritual power and consciousness. Like a garden needing regular care and watering to blossom and flourish, our inner garden of the soul, where your creativity, joy, spiritual gifts, and bliss bubble away, also needs regular attention. Coming to our practice takes strength and inner will. Even though it can feel amazing, we still have to wake up, set aside time, and discipline ourselves to show up for our own inner growth. We will reap the benefits when we do, but we must allow ourselves to fall in love with our practice, to craft something that really speaks to us, so that we want to do it. The desire and the discipline together help us engage with our practice regularly, and we can grow so fast that it can be quite shocking. When an initiate shows particular promise, higher guidance will often encourage that they develop a regular practice to hone their spiritual and creative abilities and more fully manifest their divine potential. They grow faster and stronger spiritually and be able to step into spiritual healing and leadership to greater effect. You are one such soul, dear initiate, and you are being guided to prepare for this growth and authority now with your sacred practice. This oracle is guidance that you do have great power and wisdom within you, but you need to provide channels for it to flow and be active and empowered in your physical life. Sacred practice is such a channel. Without these channels, the ego is left to create on its own, which is not much fun at all. The ego believes in fear and separation, and no matter how much it may want to feel love, bliss, connection, joy, and fulfillment, it really cannot do it without your spiritual presence in life. Ritual and magic, as a form of sacred practice, are recommended for you as a way to bring more spiritual presence into your waking life, to heal and support the ego as you learn to create a life that feels better and brings you and others more fulfillment. Sacred practice with magic and ritual may involve any of the guided exercises in this oracle. Choose what feels good for you and experiment with what might be a regular pattern of practice for you. You are worth the effort. Remember, whatever effort you do put in will be repaid to you in wonderful benefits many, many times over. Once you experience these effects, and it might only take a day or a week or two for the effect to show itself, you will be more committed to continue. The effects are cumulative. As you continue to practice, the positive effects continue to grow. If you have recently started sacred practice, this oracle is confirmation that it is working well for you, and you should not to give up if you are not seeing the results that you had hoped for. They are coming to you fast. This oracle is also confirmation that if you are considering making an adjustment in your sacred practice, it might be time to do so, provided that you don't dismiss the gains you have already made with your current practice, and you remember that sometimes small changes can have big effect. Ritual and magic practice with clear intent to be of service to the highest good and to manifest through unconditional love accelerates your power and growth, particularly when it is based on what your heart truly desires. It might be about connecting more with your body, about stilling your mind, or expressing your voice or creativity. An example of a practice is outlined now, but it is simply an example. As long as your practice includes invocation or prayer to divine forces or of unconditional love, provides a structure through which divine energy can flow and it feels natural and right for you, then it will work for you. Please know that if you have pulled the Pillar of Light card together with this one, then including that ritual as the heart of your practice is recommended at this time. Starseed message for Virgo in July of 2020. We the Hathors. Deep love, mother's milk, birth as a portal. Birth is a portal that ushers in new life. The Hathors are here to remind you that you're a child of the Cosmic Mother and you're being called to be held by her deep, never-ending love and embrace. This is a tender, nourishing card reminding you to receive the deep, deep love of the Mother's embrace. The Hathors know that the journey on Earth can be rocky and lonely at times, but you're being reminded to rest more deeply in the Mother's arms. This is a card of extreme potency, of femininity, of creation, and of birth. You're being called to mother yourself and others too, to surrender to your sacred femininity, to create and surrender to your own creations, to hold and be held. You're being called to remember your place in the web of life, and to realize that the Cosmic Mother is watching you every step of the way. You may be going through a transition right now, moving from one way of being to another. If so, you're being reminded that you're cradled in a sacred container, that you're more held than you can possibly imagine, and you have access to more love than your heart can bear. If you're struggling in a way, you're being reassured that things will work out. Open yourself to receiving the overflowing love of the Cosmic Mother, flooding toward you from every direction. Let it stretch your heart. Starseed activation. Place the card on the portal of your heart and whisper the following. I allow the deep love of the Cosmic Mother to wash over me. I'm loved. I'm held. And that's your reading, Virgo. Thanks for watching. Go to the links below my video. Email me. Become a patron. Thank you. See you next month.